Here I'm going to be cutting a base for this little post anvil. So it's just going to be a square with 4 holes in it. So we'll get cutting that now. So this is the gist of it. It's a pretty simple anvil. Basically, I got this piece of 6x6 solid square from a local metal shop. It's heat treated 4140, so it's already pre-heat treated. The only welding I'm going to be doing is down here, so it won't affect the heat treat. Yeah, it should work pretty good. I'll just do a little spring test with it here. So I got a regular ball peen hammer here. Got a pretty good amount of rebound to it, probably 50% or something. This is a little old hammer that apparently my great-grandfather made in the late 1800s. I have a few of these. One of them's actually labeled, I think, 1885 or something, so it's kind of neat. Yeah, he made a bunch of these, and so I guess that's where I get my love for blacksmithing stuff from. So, yeah. So yeah, next I'll be welding this on here, and I actually just came up with an idea. I'm going to have a little piece that comes out here with a square hole in it for if you want to use a pritchel on this thing. It's just a basic post anvil, so you don't have the horn, but it'll definitely be handy for somebody who's just wanting to make knives or do basic, basic sort of smithing stuff. So I'm just cutting out these pieces to use as the hardy holes on the post anvils there. You can see it just finishing up here. So that'll be what I'm going to use for the the hardy holes. Looks like the one I was going to use fell down in there, but I'll get this one out for now. There it is there. So I'm just going to use a wire wheel on all these pieces to kind of clean them up a bit. Here's the wire wheel here. Just make sure if you're ever using one of these, wear 2 types of eye protection, or something that fully covers around the outside of your eyes, because I know someone that got one of these wires in his eyeball. He almost lost his eye. So yeah, just make sure you wear good protection. So I'm going to wear safety glasses and a face shield, and yeah, just give it a bit of a wire wheeling to kind of clean it up here. So those are cleaned up a bit. Almost ready to weld. Put that guy on there. You could almost do it like this if you wanted to. Looks kind of nice like that. But in this case, I'm just going to do it this straight way. It's kind of how I had it measured out. So I'm going to set it up like that. This is going to be for the hardy if you ever want to use one on there. Going to weld that all in and grind it flush so you have your nice working surface. This little post anvil will be great for people who want to make knives. You don't have the horn, but it's going to be really handy otherwise. It's got a nice working surface. It's already hardened, so it's kind of a inexpensive way to make yourself an anvil if you can get a hold of something like this. It doesn't exactly have to be 6x6. You could even use 4x4 or something like that, but yeah, it's a good way to do it. Okay, so just gonna get it welded up here. I'm just gonna do a couple tacks first. Alright, here we go. I'm trying to point most of the weld at the thicker piece. Just get a little bit more heat onto that piece. But either way, it's actually gonna hold pretty good. Because really there's not a whole lot of sideways pressure on this or anything, it's more just downward, so you get a weld on there, it's gonna work. This one's cranked up all the way on a 250 amp machine, so it'll be pretty strong anyways. Alright, so that's all welded on. So now it's just a matter of clean up here with a flap disc or a grinding wheel or whatever. Clean it all up, and then I'm going to say that's done. Just back over to the wire wheel here. I'm just going to clean up these welds with this wire wheel, and then this part I'll flap this off, and I'll show you that too. So that cleaned up those welds very nice. I'll just bring it up to the camera here so you can see it. Made them nice and shiny. This thing's getting pretty heavy. It's probably around, I'm gonna say 40 or 50 pounds, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'll go get the flap disc. So I've got an 80 grit flap disc on this grinder, which is actually not good for taking down welds. I should have used probably a 60 grit, but this is the one that was on there, so I'm just gonna go with it. It'll work. There it is after a little cleanup. I'm gonna call it done now actually. So you can see I cleaned up the welds there. Ground this. There's a tiny bit of porosity right there where I welded it, but it's really smooth. It's still hot actually. Yeah, so it's really smooth. I'm not gonna worry about it because it's a pretty strong weld, and it's got a weld underneath too, so yeah, so it's gonna be pretty strong. And this will be ideal for somebody who's making knives or something like that, who needs a budget anvil that's, you know, not too expensive to pick up considering the price of anvils nowadays. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos soon. Thanks a lot. Metal's a great conductor of heat.